Everyone wants to get rich, but very few want to build wealth that outlives them because money fades, fame fades, but legacy, that's what heaven measures. And that's exactly what Charlie Kirk understood. He once said, getting rich isn't that hard. But when you look deeper at how he lived, the discipline, the conviction, the way he thought about faith, freedom, and finances, you realize he wasn't chasing money. He was building a blueprint. Born October 14, 1993, Charlie didn't come from political royalty. Now, reports suggest his father, Robert W. Kirk, was an architect who helped Trump design the Trump Tower. But connections don't build conviction. Charlie had to cast his own vision. He had to build his own movement. He had to earn the belief of others, and he did. By his early 30s, at 31 years old, he had built one of the most influential youth movements in America called Turning Point USA. And even after his assassination on September 10, 2025, his mission didn't stop. It was honored at the highest level when President Donald J. Trump awarded Charlie Kirk the Medal of Freedom posthumously, presented to his wife, Erica Kirk, in recognition of his life's work and impact. Now, this wasn't politics. That was confirmation that purpose can outlive a man's presence. Now, in this episode, I'm going to unpack the financial mindset and biblical blueprint that fueled Charlie's life. Why he said, getting rich isn't that hard. See, the secret he believed creates lasting wealth. The easiest bet he ever made with his own money while revealing this episode. And the haunting final words he left, if I die. Whether you agree with him or not, what you hear today will challenge how you think about money, your mission, and your mortality. How? Let's get started in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hey, 7-figure squad, what we go? Run it up, run it up.
What's cracking, everybody? Money Smart Guy Matt Sapali here, hailing to you from Dallas, Texas. And today, we're diving into the generational wealth blueprint of Charlie Kirk, a man who proved that vision, that discipline, and stewardship can build something that lasts well beyond your lifetime. Now, I've interviewed Charlie Kirk twice. And before the cameras rolled, we talked about faith, about finances, and gratitude off camera. And he told me, gratitude changes how you see life. And the more grateful you are, the less entitled you become. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 18 says this, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. See, gratitude was his fuel, and conviction was his compass, and clarity was his weapon. Let's take a look at this clip.
Gratitude is the fruit that makes all other things taste sweet. Ingratitude is the gateway drug towards resentment, towards bitterness, and towards envy. And every single day, if you go through the conscious decision of, I am going to say, I am thankful to God or whoever you want to be thankful to for my circumstance, for life, for breath, that I get a chance to be on this planet, as it says in Esther, for such a time as this, your entire mindset will shift. We could go all day long, and I don't mean this in a joking way, and we could bring up 100 random people in this arena, and we would hear story after story of difficulty, of parents that died unexpectedly, of kids that are dealing with health challenges. All of that is legitimate. But is that what we are going to assume as our permanent place of dwelling? Instead, if you say, I am grateful that I live in this nation, I'm grateful that I have a chance to be able to take risks, I'm grateful that I get to be an entrepreneur, everything starts to change. And you look at these things as opportunities, not as obstacles, you will break through in a place. And honestly, you will no longer be part of the generation that is the most suicidal, alcohol-addicted, drug-addicted, porn-addicted generation in history. And it's just as simple as a mindset shift.
Okay, well, let me hold that, what he's about to get into, for the end of this episode. And think about how that affects everybody, that it starts at a one bold statement that about gratitude. Now, here's the thing that Charlie also said. He said that getting rich is not that hard. Let's take a look at this clip.
Well, that would be a different question, but I
guess
agree
that's
with
what I mean,
you.
but like the question is fine. If you want to be rich, I can tell you how to get rich. Like that's actually not that hard. I mean,
How would you get rich?
Like work relentlessly and solve a problem for people, and like dedicate your entire life to it, and like become an insane person. Basically.
Do you think it's possible to still do all of those things though, and then not become rich?
Of course, but like if your whole reason for living is to become rich, you will become rich. Most people that think like most people I meet that want to be rich, they actually don't want to be rich.
That's right.
They want to have the lifestyle of being rich. They don't actually want to be rich.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, you have to sacrifice everything to want to become actually.
Right, how many guys see that right now? People want the benefits of it, but you can't complain about the life you don't have for the work you're unwilling to do. You can't be upset about the money that you don't have for the work you're unwilling to do on evenings and weekends when it was very uncomfortable for you. So do opposite what most people will do in terms of work ethic, their career, their business, their money. Do opposite of most people, because most people aren't willing to do the work.
Rich, unless you're born into it. Like no nights, few weekends. I traveled 3,000 days over a decade. I'm a million miler in American, Delta, United. I'm in all 50 states multiple times. Like it's thankless, gritty work. Like Shapiro hosted 2 radio shows, plus like Breitbart.com and Truth Revolt. Like not easy. So if you actually want to be rich, then there is a path for you. You have to like sacrifice in like immensely. I don't drink alcohol. Like Tucker Carlson doesn't drink alcohol. Donald Trump doesn't drink alcohol. Now, that doesn't mean that like you can't be rich if you don't drink alcohol, but you must sacrifice stuff. Now, it might be that you create a good widget or like you might a good social media app or you might get good venture funding. But even those guys will tell you, you have to fail a lot. You have to sacrifice a lot. You have to be really gritty. I just challenge the premise of like, what is the most important? Like, I think if getting material wealth is the most important thing, I think there actually is a playbook for that. That absent of like committing crimes, like being a really crappy person, being sociopathic, it depends also what you define as rich. Like there is a way forward for if it's your number one reason for living to, earn $500,000 a year. Like that's very conceivable in America. But if you're like, hey, actually the most important thing is to have kids, which I think having children is more important than having material success. And I have both, and I can tell you kids are way better than having money. Like honestly, not being poor is awesome. That's like the best thing I could tell you. Like being super rich, and I'm not super rich, but I would consider to be successful under, American terms, is great. But up to a place, it's kind of like, you're blessed, you're wealthy, it's fine. Not being poor is the true blessing. Not worrying about like medical bills or being in debt is like really bad. But yeah, it depends on what you want. If you want to be rich, like actually like have your bank account big, then America, of course you can do that.
Amen. You heard it. Getting rich is not that hard. You simply need a pattern, you need a formula, you need an environment to allow that to manifest. But Charlie wasn't glorifying greed. He was highlighting stewardship. Galatians chapter 6, verse 7 says this: a man reaps what he sows. See, that's not capitalism. That's kingdom economics. Wealth isn't random. It's a return on the responsibility that you're looking to invoke. Later in the same interview, around the 6-minute mark, he said that the secret to getting rich isn't brilliance. It's habits. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 11 echoes this perfect. King Solomon says, wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers it little by little will increase it. See, that's kind of important to what's going on in the world today. And this is the compounding truth that Charlie lived by, the boring millionaire principle, that consistency beats intensity. Now imagine, by the way, if you put intensity and consistency together. But stewardship also beats speculation, the secret to getting rich. Let's take a look at this.
Look, then if you want like the secret to get rich, it's actually like not super hard. It's like live below your means,
Woo!
save your money,
Woo!
invest in good companies,
Hello?
and then find good ideas and read a lot. Like read a lot. If you just read a lot and you understand, like all of a sudden you'll see trends and you'll be well informed. Again, I don't want to make it seem like it's super easy, but it depends what you define by rich. But I'll say one final thing. People are so bad with money. Like again, if your top priority is getting drunk, okay, then go do that. Like I know a lot of people, they're like, I want to be rich. I spent $700 going out this weekend. Like, I guess you don't want to be rich, okay? You want to feel good and you want to have a bunch of, toxins go through your liver, but you actually don't want to live a life of happiness and contentment. And I'm not a moralist. If you want to drink, go ahead. It's a free society. Go do that. But then don't all of a sudden complain to me that you're not materially wealthy.
By the way, that's another conversation about financial literacy. But he talks about financial literacy here at the 725 mark of this video of why potentially a little conspiracy of why financial literacy is not commonplace in America. Let's take a look at this.
Oh, it would totally,
Just
the credit
imagine.
card companies would freak
Yeah,
out.
they would freak out.
Could you imagine
Consumer-
like Visa and MasterCard?
Lowering
Apple
interest
would
rates on the credit
people
cards.
People are
Apple
asking
would
questions about 25% interest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so
Apple would sell a lot
like, how
less phones,
difficult would
man.
that be?
I mean,
is there just
it
way
would-
too much interest at
no,
play?
no. It would just be difficult. It's very hard for the federal government to control curriculum.
Think about this. Who benefits with America being financially illiterate? Who benefits? The banks do. The government does. Corporations do. If you remain financially illiterate, you allow these institutions to take advantage of you. And he's right. Our schools don't teach ownership. They teach obedience. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7 warns us. It says, the borrower is servant to the lender. And he's calling out a broken system. And when he described the best way to build wealth, which is slow, steady, consistent, he was teaching Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5, without even quoting it, that the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. That's how we thought. Patient, disciplined, and long game focused. Now, if you want to talk about specifics about where exactly Charlie put his money, let's take a look at this clip.
Buy this mutual fund, buy the Dow, buy this index, and just kind of put it aside. I went all in and bought the dip during the tariff stuff and
Smart.
COVID.
Fantastic.
During COVID, I
gosh.
bought triple leverage, triple Q.
No,
No
you
way.
Of course I
didn't.
did. Yeah.
What do you mean?
What do
Of
you mean,
course
of
you did.
course?
I mean, like,
What are you doing? You should become a financial advisor, man. You got to start your own
was
fund.
why was that so obvious to you to go
I mean, it's
triple leverage?
Hello?
It was the
Good question.
easiest bet I've ever made in my life.
Well,
Why?
You're in a bet against America. By the way,
I think the argument was that it could get a lot worse
Fine, I
before
mean,
it gets
if-
better, and
if
we
you
didn't
believe,
know that
like-
there was going to be $2 trillion printed into
well,
the
first of all,
economy
that's
that
true,
fast.
and I was against that. But I mean, my whole premise at the time was this is so self-inflicted. We decided to shut down the country. A meteor didn't strike. It's not an alien invasion. We could reverse this immediately. And so I said, and by the way, I'm investing for the next 30 years.
Bingo.
You're trying to tell me the Dow is going to remain about 17,000 points for the next 30 years?
Bingo.
So basically, I was like, I'm buying triple Q, triple lever. I mean, it was like kind of ballsy when you think about it.
Yeah.
looking back,
I
right?
guess what you don't know is that how far can it go before businesses start flat out
Sure.
going,
So
like,
to be clear,
bankrupt?
I started.
Yeah.
I started to buy when I started to see a little bit of signs of hope. Right.
Okay.
Like I tried to see the bottom. When, if I remember correctly, it went down to like 17, 18,000. And then yeah, just kind of plowed a bunch of money into it. By the way, I was like, fine. I wasn't even married at the time. I had no kids.
Just to give you some perspective, right now in October 2025, when this episode was shot, the current Dow Jones right now is at 46,309. Charlie was talking there about, and by the way, this episode, shout out to the Iced Coffee Hour. These guys had a phenomenal interview. I appreciate them doing this. For the rest of the world to see the brilliance of Charlie Kirk in terms of his mind, the way he handles his finances, his stewardship responsibility of his talents, his resources. But the Dow Jones he was referencing here was at 17,000, 18,000 during COVID. Now, Charlie said he bought triple leverage, triple Q during the COVID crash and called it the easiest bet I ever made. So let me break that down simply. The triple Q is like a basket of the top 100 tech companies like Apple, like Microsoft, like Tesla, like Amazon, Google, etc. A triple leverage triple Q is like pressing a 3x turbo button. Now, if the market goes up 1%, you gain 3%. But if it drops 1%, you lose 3%. See, that's powerful, but it's also dangerous because during COVID crash, most people panicked. But Charlie saw the opportunity. He believed the crash wasn't permanent, that it was just simply policy panic and an oversight of the government. Psalms chapter 46, verse 10 says this, "Be still and know that I am God." He stayed still when others sold out. See, that's conviction, not arrogance. And when the market rebounded, his courage was rewarded. Now, in this Iced Coffee Hour episode, Charlie said, I invest in what I understand and I don't panic. See, that's Proverbs chapter 24, verse 3 in motion, which says, by wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. Now, Charlie built wealth the same way he built influence, which is through clarity in the midst of chaos. But the part that blows me away isn't the money. It's the man that it takes to raise it. Charlie didn't have a degree or a political dynasty. He wasn't a Kennedy, he wasn't a Bush, but yet he convinced millionaires and billionaires to believe in a dream that started in a dorm room. That's Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 5. If it pleases the king, send me so I can rebuild. You can't rebuild culture without funding it. You can't have a priest without a king. You can't have a mess without the resources that allows that mess, that message to be expanded to the world. You see, Charlie didn't beg. He cast vision. And Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2 says this, write the vision and make it plain that he may run who reads it. And that's what Charlie did. Conviction attracts capital. He learned how to seek investors to donate to Turning Point USA because people didn't fund perfection. They funded his certainty. And that's why his movement, Turning Point USA, still runs today, because he built an institution, not a personality.
Oh, sorry.
No. And then when people say at the end of the day, they don't even know what they're saying when they say it. It's just
At the end of the day,
it's just literally a linguistic crutch.
Sounds like
is all
pet
that
peeves to
it
me.
is.
Okay.
Linguistic crutches are very annoying, in fairness.
Yes, and that is one that drives me nuts.
Watch this.
If
Watch
everything
this. Watch this.
completely goes away, how do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die,
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could
Oh.
be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important. Most important thing is my faith in my life.
Charlie Kirk, thank you so much
You
for
guys
coming
do
on
a
the
great
Ice
job.
Cream.
Wow. And when Charlie said, if I die, it wasn't morbid. It's prophetic. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7 says this: I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. He knew legacy is more than just longevity. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22 says this: a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. See, Charlie wasn't chasing fame. He was building something that could outlive him. And here's where real wealth building comes full circle. Let's think about the protection he needed from a financial standpoint. If you're leading that level, that army, the Turning Point USA Army, with staff, with real estate, brand equity, you can't just earn money. You can't just raise money. You've got to guard and protect it. That's Genesis chapter 41. Joseph didn't just interpret dreams. He stored grain to protect the nation, because that's when he was being talked to by God to lead Pharaoh to store food during the famine. You see, leaders like Charlie need structure. For example, term coverage for family and income protection, permanent coverage for liquidity and legacy, key person coverage for business continuity. Now, it's not greed, it's governance. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 12 says this: the prudent see danger and then take refuge, but the simple, they keep going and pay the penalty. They kind of sweep it under the rug. See, Charlie had financial foresight. Now, remember what Charlie said in the beginning of this episode: gratitude. Gratitude. Right there, gratitude. He told me, gratitude changes how you see life. Philippians chapter 4, 11 through 12 says this: I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. Now, gratitude keeps you humble when you rise and hopeful when you fall. It's the foundation of every kind of wealth. Wealth of finances, wealth of relationships, and definitely wealth of your spirit. So if we break down Charlie Kirk's financial philosophy, it mirrors 5 timeless biblical truths. Number 1, you got to sacrifice now. Luke chapter 16, 10 through 12 says, whoever can be trusted with little can be also trusted with much. If you didn't know this, Charlie went 5 years without salary through Turning Point USA. That's proof before promotion. Number 2, anchor steady, steady bold. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 2 says this: invest in 7 ventures, yes, even in 8, for you do not know what disaster may come. Diversify wisely and act boldly when the moment comes. Number 3, conviction attracts capital. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1 says this: faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. See, people follow clarity, and money follows conviction and execution. Number 4, protect the mission. Genesis chapter 41 says, prepare in times of plenty so you survive the famine. And number 5, lead with gratitude. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 18 says, gratitude guards the heart from greed. And Charlie Kirk built wealth the same way he built influence: through discipline, through stewardship, and through faith. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 20 says, the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. You see, freedom isn't random. It's funded. You can't change the world if you can't control your wallet. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. And you certainly can't pass down legacy if you never master stewardship. That being said, guys, as I wrap this up, please put your biggest takeaway in the comment section before And if you've watched this video all the way until the end, put Kirk in the comment section below that I know that if you watch this to the very end. That being said, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, a channel dedicated to faith and finance and leadership development here in the 7 Fear Squad YouTube channel. That being said, please put your biggest takeaway in the comment section below and share this with somebody that can use the blueprint of Charlie Kirk for their money game. That being said, from Dallas, Texas, I'm your money smart guy. And until we meet again, continue to live smart, continue to love smart, and be money smart today.